What's the difference between body surfing and Kelly Slater, Tom?
Well, one's more impressive.
Yeah.
And one's just kind of falling down a wave on your belly.
Yeah.
And I can't even tell. There's so much splashing. I'm like, what?
Why do dads say that? So if you talk to most dads, like if you're at the beach with another dad, like I used to surf, not so much now, but like if we got to talking, there have been multiple times where I'm talking with another dad, and I'm like, oh yeah, I used to surf all the time. I really loved it. And then that dad will say something like, and it's come up a couple of times, they'll be like, yeah, I like body surfing. They'll throw it out there. Body surfing is the last-ditch effort of dads to say that they do something other than just swimming in the ocean, right?
I don't know that my dad ever went to the beach. I'm trying to remember a time that he ever went to the beach with us.
This is good. My dad went to the beach and he got in trouble with my mom. The stereotype. What do you think my dad got in trouble with my mom for at the beach?
Drinking too early.
No, my dad wouldn't drink on the beach.
Oh, that's right. And you said he was like a 5 o'clock.
Yeah, he was a 5 o'clock guy. It's a stereotype. Probably not so much anymore.
Did his boys fall out?
No, probably did. Probably did, but this was a stereotype for dads back in the day, and I want to say like
binoculars. Yeah.
You know what? I should take you to the Presto myself and just stick the card in there and give you a sweet $50 bill. My dad
Look at those bikinos.
He would bring, and it was innocent then because my dad he's a respectable man.
I don't know, you're a pervert. So.
Look, I'm a pervert, but I'm not running through the streets saying inappropriate comments. I mean, I love the female form, and I'll look at it. But there was an innocence.
I think the show is kind of that, though.
yeah. It's pretty much.
Yeah.
What?
What do you
mean?
Running through the streets saying inappropriate comments.
Yeah, that's the show. Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't.
In real life,
if you really meet me, I'm not saying anything
No, of
like
course,
that.
yeah.
And you're in these streets too, bro.
So he would bring the binoculars to check out women.
Scope the scene.
And
I was on vacation with a couple other couples one time, and we went to a topless beach, and a guy brought binoculars, and I was like, God damn, dude. Be cool about
that's
it.
Cheesy.
You know what I mean? Be cool about it.
I don't like... I feel like I need to say these things because there was an innocence to them. But my dad would bring his binoculars to the beach and look around. And mom would be like, what are you looking at? And she'd make comments around. It was playful, right?
Yeah.
And then he also, when I went on my first cruise, I was 13 years old. And I remember my dad making jokes about going up to the topless deck.
There used to be, I remember.
Yeah, there used to be a topless deck on the
Carnival
Carnival
still
cruise.
is, but maybe not.
There are adults-only areas, but I don't think
it's topless. Yeah, I think we've actually downgraded
But I wonder
that.
what is it, the new Virgin Cruise Lines that's all adults-only? Wonder if they have a topless
Maybe.
deck.
I think you can go topless and no one's going to say anything. And that's it, right? It's not like you have to be topless. Like the damn...
My cruise, you would have to be topless.
The places in Jamaica, the nudist resorts, like there are portions where you're not allowed to even enter unless you're nude. They'll make you disrobe.
Yeah. Sir, you need to take your bottoms off. I had that happen to me a couple times. Like, sir,
that's like
Sam,
nudity mandatory.
Sam, at hedonism, I had a big, ginormous Jamaican man tell me in hedonism that I would need to take my bottoms off in order to lay on an inflatable banana. That's a true story.
Yeah.
And I laid on that inflatable banana in the sunshine without because I'm not used to being nude, and I burned my front.
You guys want to go on the Scarlet Lady?
That's the nice Virgin Mega Ship, right?
They have a sun deck called the Perch where you can go topless if you choose.
The Perch?
All right.
I'm not sure I like that.
I think
Perching for eagles perch, and then they swoop down and kill their prey.
We got to call Tony because Tony, I think he either went...
Too perverted. Can't talk to him about this. He can't even hold the phone. He can't hold the phone.
He'll nervously giggle all
No,
the time.
he cannot hold the phone and talk about topless decks. It's an impossibility. He'll shake his teeth out.
Tony went on this cruise.
Yeah,
Did he go on this one?
Either he went or he's going on it.
Well, do you think he was like,
talked to him.
He's like, Dad, why don't you go check out the pastries? And he gets up there.
He sees
checks, mix. Everywhere. Oh, God.
Come on.
That's the worst thing I've ever done on the air, by the way.
That's true. I think I have to cut that out.
Melissa, put that as a video.
No.
Daniel needs one.
No.
So,
that's how it starts.
We'll call Tony, ask him about the topless deck. But before that, let's talk about the Pam and Tommy series, right? It's
Ghost of Manute Bull, a chat person in our chat room, twitch.tv/TomAndDanLive, every single day live on the Twitch. He said it's really good. He watched the first episode of Pam and Tommy and said it's awesome.
So let's go back and remember what happened, because I have a vague memory of it.
Yeah. How old were you guys when this happened? 1995.
I was 1 year out of high school.
I was 9.
I graduated.
So I don't remember a ton about it until the later
I remember
years.
the one before this. This is how I remember the Vince Neil Janine tape. Google that.
I don't know that one.
That was also vivid. That was the one where the packaging looked the same. And you had adult star Janine Lindemuller, who was only appearing in adult.
He's listed as number 2 on the 5 worst rock star sex tapes ever.
It's pretty bad because you just see his butt, and it's a saggy bulldog butt.
No.
But,
That's gross.
Most of those rock guys, not the best bodies because they're skinny dudes and drugs, and lots of alcohol.
And they're not working out normally. There's
because
partying.
that's not that's a newer thing, the metal guys that are muscly. Most metal guys back in the day were bean poles.
Yeah, because all they did is party.
There's a Fred Durst sex tape.
Yeah.
I missed that one too.
Yeah.
How did I miss
man,
that?
come on,
that one's
Sam.
not that good.
No, it's not that good at all.
So,
Baseball hats and beer bellies.
and really, it all has to do with a couple things. One, Tommy Lee, he's got it.
Yeah, he's got
the
it.
He's got a
typical
big drumstick.
Yeah,
Big drumstick.
Big
Yeah.
Lee. And then Pamela Anderson.
She's got it.
Big T's.
Yeah.
That
And a nice
she's
V.
she's been such
Whoa.
Oh my God.
a sex symbol since Baywatch that it blew everybody's mind when they first saw this.
Well, it was like seeing the forbidden fruit, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's not like you seeing your grandma nude. It's like literally the one person you think you can't see everything because she was doing Playboy. We'd seen it, but we'd never seen it in action.
Exactly. And this was the beginning of seeing, kind of being a voyeur or seeing people's private videos or pictures or now we're so inundated with it doesn't matter as much anymore at all. But back then the internet was new, and this is the whole series is about. I saw the trailer and they were talking about the joke was, I think Seth Rogen plays one of the bad guys or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, let's
I
put
think
it
it's like him and Nick Offerman, right?
Yeah,
They
Nick
played
Offerman,
that.
yeah.
It's like amazing casting.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part a lot of people forget about is how this thing even got out. Was someone literally went in their house and stole it and then released it.
And I think they stole the safe, didn't they? Or they
might have stole the
broke
whole safe.
they
Yeah, but,
broke into the safe.
I remember there being confusion at the time, and I remember me thinking, this is how dumb I am. I remember me thinking, oh, somebody stole their sex tape, and then they took it to a reputable company and had it made. How is that not illegal? And I'm like, people can steal videos and then just put them out there and start making money off of it?
Yeah.
What's I remember, obviously that's not what happened. I'm sure there's...
I think there was... It basically was what happened, and...
I think there's a little
they
more...
stole, duplicated, and distributed the tape themselves.
Isn't there a little more to it? Do you mean who stole it? Pam and Tamala? Tamala. Oh my God, I'm doing it.
It was an electrician.
Yeah, it was some
that they had
worker at
hired.
their house that had been doing
Rand
work.
Gother? Something like that?
And then
Gauthier?
I think he opened up the safe in the garage and they stole it. But at the time, there was confusion because everybody was saying that this was a made-up story. They released it.
Right,
because
that was the thing.
Because it was so popular, everybody was talking about it.
They were assuming the people that Pam and Tommy were making money off of it, but
Right,
they
but they didn't, right? Yeah.
They had to sue for it because they didn't release it.
But then something odd happened that they didn't even realize is they got such an unbelievable press and attention that it ended up helping their careers. And that's kind of the beginning of celebrity sex tapes and Kim Kardashian and people, Paris Hilton, realizing that this could actually help you because it's so salacious and so big and everybody wants to see it that it just ups your brand, right? As long as you don't care about having that out there. And as we know, some people doing it on purpose.
Or at least weigh it. I mean, you may hate that it's out there, but you may look at the other side and be like, maybe I can stomach it.
Then there's other scenarios where the tape or the video gets stolen and then they just realize that since it's out there, they might as well monetize it themselves. And there's been things like that. And I forgot who did that, but there's some other thing.
Kardashian did that.
Is that the Ray J tape?
Yeah.
I've seen that one too. That's not bad. You've seen that, right?
Yeah, that one's
That's
boring.
not bad. He's also got it. He's got it.
Yeah. But that one was orchestrated by her, right? Or
No, by him.
By him, I believe.
And he leaked it, and then she ended up basically getting it and then putting it out under their
And then
own
Paris
production company
Hilton.
or something. Yeah, Paris Hilton.
Then there was that one. She had multiple. She had
Well,
the
that
one
was a scumbag boyfriend. She didn't do that on purpose.
No.
But there were different ones that she did. Like there's Paris Hilton like doing a mouth. There's
One
Paris
Night
Hilton.
in Paris, yeah.
There's Paris Hilton in Night Vision. And then there's Paris Hilton naked with like Joe Francis on a boat where he's like holding her, and I'm like, this is so gross.
Yeah. That the Night Vision
That
one
guy's
and the
gross.
regular one was the same tape, but they
She's
just
had
edited it together.
a couple of little like there's one where it's like like her in the mirror dancing around.
So the back to Pam and Tommy's sex tape.
Oh my God, Norm in the Twitch chat room just mentioned. He said, does anybody remember the Laura Croft bus strip video? And Norm, Tom, and I both remember that video. The girl on the bus dressed like Laura Croft, and then she's like taking off clothes, and then she walks out of the school bus. Yeah, I remember that. I think it was a school bus.
I don't remember.
You don't remember that one?
No.
Norm, I remember that one.
Was that a celebrity or was it someone dressed like Laura
it just
Croft?
was the first time that I saw somebody who like did cosplay, and I was like, this cosplay stuff's all right.
Yeah.
I was like, Laura Croft, well done, Tomb Raider.
And now I'm sure the whole, series and show depicts what happened, but I remember it being really weird because it was the first time like someone used the internet.
They stole a 6-foot-tall safe.
Yeah, they stole the whole safe.
Well, because Tommy had stiffed the electrician for doing work at the house.
Is that what it was? I don't know. See, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, Ghost from a New Bull
in the
says
show,
that
brother.
in the show, basically, the short of the long is Tommy Lee had some electrical work done at the house. He stiffed the contractor. The electrician came back. They stole the safe as retribution to that. And boom, there's your tale.
Yeah. Probably also taught everybody probably easier to hide your sex tape amongst other tapes rather than in the safe, because if you open a safe and
there's something
and
on
there's
there.
one tape in there, you're like, well, I know that's not just your family vacation. That's something,
You got that locked up.
Yeah.
You could have probably hid that somewhere
All right,
in
I'm gonna
plain
have to
sight.
change my sex tape
No.
location now.
But
I've never made one, man.
and now it's almost if you make a sex tape, it's digital, and then it probably
old
gets
school,
stored on the
analog.
cloud and stuff. Yeah, it's hard.
I mean, it's safer to go
Yeah,
old
analog.
school.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got an old...
Does anyone even have a VCR to watch my sex tape now?
I actually
that's
do.
the thing,
I bought one just for things that we have that we want to like maybe later watch.
I had
and
one.
I mean, like, if I'm gonna have tapes, you might as well have a VCR because it's really stupid to only have tapes. You know what I mean?
I think I punted everything, and my wife is still holding on to some DVDs.
I punted all of those,
and
I punted Blu-rays, dude.
And I'm screaming. I'm like, why do we have
streaming.
these? I'm like, punt everything. And she still has like her old high school CD case with all her
I have that.
Far Side
Oh,
CDs.
Jesus. You
I have
got Ja Rule in there.
And I'm like, what is this? Punt this in the trash. And
Well, some of the people don't have, they're not bands anymore. They don't have music digitally on the internet.
That's what
They
she
only have
says.
like one EP.
Name,
But I'm also
that
like-
one, but then the other ones you could throw away.
I had a lot of those though.
But also, and like I tell her, I'm like, when's the last time you listened to them? Like, we don't even have a CD
That's
player.
true. I haven't listened to it in a while.
And that's the problem. Was like,
Yeah.
you have this because you don't want to get rid of
You're
it.
like, but maybe one day I'll put that song on.
No days.
I'm getting better at
Never
the
happens.
I'm getting better at the maybe one days of just taking stuff and just punting it into the trash.
Yeah, me
but then
too.
I also feel guilty about doing that. You know, when you look at your trash can, you look in there and it's a bunch of just like garbage you've been holding on to. There's a part of my brain that says no.
part of your life.
If you keep it's even worse than that. It's almost like my brain is telling me keep it in your house because then it doesn't go to the dump. It's almost like you're saving the world by keeping the trash
your own
inside my
personal
own
dump.
home.
Yeah.
I have made sex tapes before.
Yeah, that's why there's still hope. I'm not going to have the swinger lifestyle. I'm not going to
How
have
many
the
did
water.
you make?
And they're out there.
Oh, he's probably made 4
one
or
of them
5.
got lost or stolen.
So
like
there-
Tommy Lee.
Wait a minute, Tommy Lee, Tommy V.
There is a sex tape of tape of Tommy V and Pamela Crow in the world somewhere.
Yeah.
Someone's got it.
And I bet that is good.
Yeah, it got
Quiet.
Oh man.
it got
What am I watching here? It's dead quiet.
it got stolen.
Yeah, and he's a pumper too, like a lot
No,
of
come
slapping
on,
because
come on.
remember this guy,
You don't think it's a slow grind?
he's not. He's quiet and fast.
Like a rabbit.
Like UBS.
Anyway, I'm sure it's not that good. Another thing
It's
about
good. What
I never
angle?
rewatched it.
Was it from the
a
back?
young Tom.
Was it from the back? Because most guys do
Was
that
it your
one.
BH?
Most guys
No.
do the missionary, and I don't like that because things have a tendency, especially on the lady, to get real red.
It was some POV. It was night vision because it was.
Oh, you did the Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
One night in Crystal.
I like night vision because it takes away the redness. It takes away the awkward. Boy, that's inflamed.
But you also see veiny tees when
Whoa.
that's true. For whatever reason, night vision.
That's my grandma's rap name.
It picks up the veins in your tees. I don't know why.
What is that?
Don't know. But you look at tees under night vision, it's veiny. That's the truth.
You look at tees out of night vision.
So, and I think a lot of people now with their phone, there's nudity and people filming themselves everywhere, right?
Yeah. All the time.
Although it's weird because I feel like that's more of a young person's game. Like I'd never do it now. Crystal would never allow it. It would never, just because of it getting leaked out there and on the internet. Although I imagine, like we've predicted, in 10 years, everybody's going to have something, and then it's just going to make everything nothing.
Well, newer, I would preface by saying younger people will have things. Older people, they're stuck in their ways. They're not getting
when
on
we
board.
die off, I'm
Yeah.
saying like the generation now that already has the nudity, they're going to be grandparents one day, and now it's going to be like, oh yeah, your grandma has a sex tape.
But check this out.
On the internet, of course she does.
So check this out. Your actual nudity of yourself, which will be worth more? The real nudity of Samantha as the human nude, or will the nudity of her avatar within the meta be worth more? Will that become a thing? I mean, we're already seeing now on
Reality
Meta.
will always
Trump?
register more in your brain.
Because like right now, you're already seeing people that are like...
Oh, you can deep fake porn already, yeah.
Well, but I mean, like, you can assault people in the meta, right? You can, like, come up to them and, touch their digital butt, and you shouldn't do that, and you'll
is
get
it gonna be
banned.
digital crimes?
And no, there will be. I'm serious about this. That's going to be a thing. They're already doing that. If that's going to become an extension of your life, it'll be regulated and controlled, and that will give a perceived value to your, your nudity of your meta life or whatever element of privacy that represents.
I'm sure they go over it in the Pam and Tommy series, but I wonder how much positive effect it had on both their careers.
Would they admit it, though?
I think they ended up embracing it at one point. Now, I'm sure it's in the show, but I think at the end of the whole thing, and if you talk to them now, they would probably say it was a positive but although it probably put them through a lot of stress.
The article that I read was basically saying they tried to show how deeply sexist it was, where it was a great thing for Tommy Lee, but it was terrible for Pamela Anderson. She was like slut-shamed basically for this video.
Yeah, at the time, too. You forget it's the 90s.
Right.
Different time.
1985, yeah.
People are still saying the F word for
I
gays.
never thought... I never looked at any sex tape.
He got to be looked at as this cool rock star banging this hot chick, and she was looked at as trashy.
Yeah, see, I never looked at I actually just looked at it like, oh, wow, I get to see two famous people that I think are attractive do it. I never looked at her as being bad. It was something I think I do and did feel bad for her because it's an invasion of privacy, but I didn't see her as a slut at all.
Almost 30 years ago. Put that in your...
Yeah.
Like, whoa!
Yeah, I know.
Like, talk about a different time, Like, anytime someone in the internet does this all the time, where they are like, right now to 95 is if you were talking about something from, 70 to 90. Like in 95, if someone was talking about something that happened in the 70s, you'd be like, who the hell... it's so long ago... We're talking about 95. Yeah. It's the same time. It's the same time difference. But yeah, that was the first sex tape that kind of changed the way and made sex tapes a thing.
I think that. Okay, hold on a second. You just mentioned you're talking about like from like 90s to 70s and from then to now, right? And you're throwing around 30 years. Do the memories that we make now mean more or mean less because we're able to capture them digitally and hold on to them better?
Well, I don't know if they mean more or less.
Because like the video of Pam and Tommy, see, back in the day, like if this had happened in like, let's say the early 1900s with like, and it probably did, with like the beginnings of photographs and stuff like that, there would be no way to digitally keep it, distribute it, hold on to it. Even now, we have digital copies of Pamela and Tommy's sex tape.
Yeah.
But my point is like now though, we have like a perfect there are copies everywhere. Any new sex tape, there's millions of copies digitally everywhere. Are the memories, because we're not having to remember as much because the internet's doing it for us, right?
Yeah.
Are they worth more or worth less?
Well, they're more accurate,
right?
Because
and you don't need to remember as much now, do you?
Yes,
it's a good time to be me.
There's record. Yeah,
I got a bad memory.
You can go back on your Facebook and see what you were doing on an exact date or whatever, that kind of thing. But that's why it was a groundbreaking, because they use the internet to distribute it, and it was one of the first things that, there's different times where certain events like change the way humanity does something. COVID is one of them, right?
Yeah.
And that'll be a timestamp.
Yeah, it's definitely a marker for sure.
In human history to when, and I think it's going to be a timestamp in human history to when we all moved closer to the internet, right? Because we were forced to, and closer to like being part of computers or being like, or whatever you think the future is going to be. Sure. But it's like it definitely forced everybody to use the internet more, right, and to buy things online more, and everything that the pandemic forced us to do.
Yeah, in some places you would need to, like even to make like an appointment, you would have to go online to do it. There would be no like normal way to do it.
And in like 95, when the internet was new and people were using it, but it wasn't, and like it forced a lot of guys like your dad and my stepdad and stuff to get on the internet for the first time and search for the Pam and Tommy video, right?
No, my dad didn't do that. He asked me to buy it at Fair Villa, and that's what I did.
Yeah, because there was like the...
I actually bought the
old
tape,
school,
and it's the one I still have, so there's kind of a story behind it, and I can remember giving it to him, and then I don't know if people want to hear this or people I still know, but my dad's best friend, I won't say his name, he still listens, and they watched it together, and I came in, they were in there watching it, and they're like, doing the old elbow, and oh my God, look at him, he's honking the horn, and...
See, I was in middle school, I was in 8th grade, so I only remember this in high school, finding it on the internet, because by that time, the tapes had all been
everywhere,
been uploaded to the internet, and that was the thing, so...
that wasn't a thing for me when I got it. I remember going and buying the tape. It was like $45. And porno tapes back in the day were humongous. The box was like...
Yeah, they put a bigger box. I don't know why.
20 is like 25 inches tall.
What do you do with that?
It's like 16 inches wide. And then they'd put a sleeve in there. And then the VCR tape would lay flat in there. And there'd be like a good 2 inches of plastic on either side.
You got to protect that thing.
Why was it bigger?
Why? Somebody tell me why porno tapes are bigger.
Why.
We need to talk to Fairville about that.
We got to get Deborah, Bill Murphy on the
Bill
phone.
Murphy will know, because I'm sure he distributed it at the time.
Brock nailed it, maybe. That's good, Brock. Right off the dome, Brock goes harder to steal.
I think because they were more expensive, you wanted to get something bigger.
Sizable.
Like, I think they
felt they needed
worth
to
the
give
$45.
Yes, sir.
Right.
I bet it's some psychological thing.
Somewhere like $60. I think that one was $45, if I remember correctly.
But where are you storing that?
If you put it in a regular
giant boxes.
I hid it under my bed until I gave it to my dad.
Or Brock is right. Maybe it's easy or harder to shoplift a giant thing like that.
Frog and Molly with an X. It's just easier for your wife to find and shame you for. That's hilarious.
Anyway, pretty interesting that they now decided to turn it into a series or whatever.
Miniseries.
Yeah, apparently Pamela Anderson's not thrilled about it.
What's she saying?
She's like, "Yeah, you're opening up old wounds for me, and I don't want to. I don't want to be re-traumatized by you retelling my story," which I get.
Yeah.
She's also
doesn't seem like they consulted her, which is kind of
I thought they did.
Messy.
See, I kind of thought that they were all on board.
I would have thought too, but
I'm not really good with the person still alive, and if they're dead, I'm kind of like, oh,
at
they're
least
dead.
Consult them.
I know this sounds really crappy, but if you're dead and somebody does a story for you, they're like, oh, it made him look bad. I'm like, he's dead. But if you're still alive and somebody you don't know takes your story and then produces a show about it, that's a little weird.
Maybe well, if it's telling an accurate story, maybe.
But how do they know if they haven't talked to her? They don't know how she felt, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
still
she has had a couple books out, so maybe they're going off of that. But still, I
also kind of lend if it is something that could be considered traumatic, and that sounds like not like in the beginning that could have been pretty terrible. Maybe not the nicest thing to do if she doesn't want you doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but you know.
No, that's Hollywood.
Whatever.
They're telling a story, making money. I don't know. Also, who knows? Like, if she's telling the media that, and then she behind the scenes was a part of, who knows? That's another thing. It's like listening to an NFL coach tell you something. You're like, well, what is he telling you? Like, he's telling you what he wants everybody to hear,
right?
Not necessarily truth.
Not the truth.
He doesn't have any obligation to tell the truth.
I think that I've seen just about every adult tape that any celebrities put out. I'm trying to rack my brain to the famous ones. I said Vince and Janine Lindemuller. The one that really, for the internet age, the one that like lit things up, and I was really disgusted that I saw it was
X-Pac in China.
I did watch it. No, that one, I mean, she is a muscle lady, and muscle ladies look like muscle ladies. But no, Tanya Harding. I saw the Tanya Harding sex tape.
And that's unfortunate.
And this one's unfortunate because she happens to be like in a wedding gown, and then everything's real inflamed. It's a lot of red. Yeah. That's why I feel like Night Vision would have been a better go.
It's also like in a redneck
it's like where are you? Are you in the break room at a Cracker Barrel? Where are you?
Yeah. Also, what about the Vern Troyer one?
I didn't see that one either.
Unfortunate, right? There's
Vern Troyer. I've seen
the Hulk Hogan.
I've seen Hulk Hogan. I've seen
that one was funny.
Yeah, I think maybe I can. I don't think anybody can come at me, bro, with this. I think I've seen them all.
Have you seen the Farrah Abraham?
I have. Okay. I owned the Farrah Abraham one. Somebody sent it to me, and that one's weird because she does butt.
Yeah.
Have you seen what was the Playboy bunny that was like girlfriends with the old Hugh Hefner for a while? It was Kendra. Yeah, I've seen that one. You seen Kendra?
That was before she was in Playboy, and it's like some big
Brock
Lesnar.
Have you seen the Rob Lowe?
Dude. I have seen the Rob Lowe, the Night Vision. That's Night Vision. Or
I haven't seen that one.
I've seen that one.
I haven't seen the Rob Lowe.
I've seen the.
Well,
is Rob Lowe with a celebrity or just a random?
Were they underage?
I don't know, but it was Night Vision. I've seen stills of that. I don't think I've seen the actual film. I'm trying to think of other ones that people didn't want you to see.
Gene Simmons.
I've seen that one.
Scott Stapp had one.
I have not seen Scott Stapp. I have seen Gene Simmons. That one's gross because he lays on the bed and it's like he just pulls his black jeans down and he lays there like a big fat helmet head and then some lady sits on him and just kind of rocks back and forth. It's weird.
Apparently it was weird. It was Scott Stapp and Kid Rock receiving pleasures from groupies.
Yes.
Okay.
The old Kid Stapp.
My God.
I'm sure a lot of that, it was a learning curve.
Chelsea Handler had one.
Haven't seen that one.
Haven't seen that one.
Really?
Have not seen that. She's an attractive lady.
I wonder, sometimes
Hulk Hogan is a classic. That one's great.
Yeah. Sometimes they do a good job burying them.
Yeah, they do.
But they can't bury it for that long. Like
Me neither.
It's like Blippi, that video, and like
he
tried as hard.
Our internet sleuths found that in like literally 35 seconds.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
And he scraped it good.
I don't think you could hide from the internet because as long as it exists, someone has it. There's a re-upload it, and then it just gets stolen and it multiplies.
That's the thing. Is that back in the day, you'd have to go to the store and buy it or find it.
Yeah, this will all end when all the fakes and the deep fakes become good enough that they're indistinguishable from real, and then
it's like having too much fake currency in your money system. It's like we have to accept it all now. Sorry, this is what we have,
dude. There was
it's happened before at casinos, right?
There was this guy that basically he was a jeweler.
This is fascinating to me.
And he learned how to replicate casino chips, right? And then
I've seen the Tila Tequila one and the Fishburne daughter one. I've seen all those.
Yeah. And then he learned to replicate the casino's chips, and then he
would use his jeweler tools to like replicate stuff, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it was the chips or I think it was the coins.
I think it was the coins.
And then so he replicated the coins, and he'd go to different casinos, and he'd have like $1,000 worth of coins, and then he'd play in the slots for a while, and then go and then cash them out and get the money and leave. And crazy. Then they were so good they couldn't tell them apart. And then he did this for so long before he got caught that they went back and realized, and when he started talking about how much he did it, they realized there was like X amount of these coins in the system.
And they'll be there forever.
And there's no way for them to tell them apart because they were so good that they literally just like nothing we could do. Yeah. So there was that was it. And so
You're right. I think that probably will happen with deep fakes.
Like, I remember this, and this is already happening because I saw on the BDM page because Britney Spears is posting a lot of like bikini photos and stuff, and people are talking about it, right?
And hand bra photos.
Yeah,
videos.
Hey, feel good look.
I like it. Yeah.
I'm glad she got her life back.
And so I'm looking at it, and then people are like, "Oh,
this is a better Britney."
Christina Aguilera's doing it now
they're
too.
like,
Because she copies everything.
Oh,
Britney does.
absolutely. We're back to,
She's like, wait a minute, look at me.
Only we win.
We're back to 2001.
No, it's a win-win.
Sam.
It's a win-win for
Britney
everybody.
and Christina going back and forth. Next thing you know, Christina's doing that dirty.
But Christina made it all blurry fuzzy, so it's like,
Yeah.
She put a blurry filter on
That's
it.
her style, though, to be a little weird.
Because I'm a dumb old man, immediately I went to Google and I was like, Christina Aguilera nude.
Oh, there.
Jeez.
And then I went to pictures.
From the video shoot of the dirty video, it has her with her fake boobs.
Yeah, but it also has a million different fakes, too.
Well, there's real ones.
Yeah.
The ones where she has the braids are real.
But I can't tell.
So is it just as good for you? Even if you know... If you
No,
can't tell?
it ruins it because I can't. I'm like, was this one real? Is this one real? Is this
So
one
now
fake?
you're just fighting
How
your
do you
brain.
not tell? You can tell by the way that their head is angled. It's all weird to me. I'm like, look at her. She looks like a creature.
There are some that are pretty damn good. I mean,
yeah, but if they make it too crazy, and what I mean by that is too spicy. Like they put her face on a girl
of course,
who's literally got every sex toy in the world. I'm like, that's not real.
I know which ones are fake, but some of them are subtle, and some of them are like, there's some. It looks like to me a different model that they just put her face on, but I don't know. I looked at it, I'm like, is that real? I don't know. And then then I see the famous one from the video, from the music video. I'm like, well, I know that one's kind of real. But then I'm like, then there's some that they basically faked where the real ones they made were, I don't know. It's like it becomes
There's
a
variations.
mishmash. And that is only going to happen more to the point where you can't tell the difference. And you're like, all right, it's everywhere. And who cares? Because I can't tell the real from the fake. And then everybody's nude. And then it kind of diminishes the whole point of it, because you wanted to see what this person looked like nude, which is stupid because it's just a human being. You know what they look like. They look like other human beings nude. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's body type is different, but you can kind of guess on someone's body type what they kind of look like nude, but you just want to see it. And then if you fake it all, then you're like, oh, okay, well, it normalizes it, right?
Yeah.
Because guess what? Everybody is a human. We all.
That's basically what I look like down there.
Yeah.
You got the idea.
Who cares? Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Unless you're Michael Jackson and you have a really distinctive birthmark on your ding dong. Remember that?
No.
I found that out while some grocery store kid was bagging my groceries.
What the hell?
This is years ago.
That was in the trial.
Yeah, it was in the trial, and I'm standing there. I might have been with my mom going through there, and the bag boy was talking. This is why my memory's the worst. The bag boy's talking to the cashier. The cashier's like, yeah, he had a very distinct birthmark on his genitals.
Don't talk about that while I'm
they were
checking
chirpers, not me.
It was in the court case.
Case.
And they asked the kid about it.
But I'm checking my groceries out. I don't want you telling me about it.
I don't.
Well, it's on the tabloids.
And my mom was paying with a check, so we had to stand there for a while. I'm serious. This is all in my memory.
Self-checkout. Can we all just go 100% to that? I mean, it's
Walmart's got
it.
it. Yeah, Walmart's got it.
Dude,
man.
it's now the best thing in the world.
The Target one is not quite the same, and I'll tell you why. Because they have a person that stands there to regulate the self-checkout.
They all have it.
Not Walmart. That person's smoking because it's
they
just
don't
robots.
That Walmart has more, but there is one employee that's kind of there.
They're just not paying attention.
I've never seen them.
It's but man, it's so much easier. And that tells me is like, okay, this is what everything's
Okay,
gonna
Norm
be.
in our Twitch chat room says that he does not like self-checkout. I would like to know why, Norm. Why do you dislike? He actually used the F word he said F. Self-checkout. I feel like you're going to regret that.
That's old man set in his ways.
I love it.
There's no rational, logical reason why it's worse, unless you like chirping to the cashier or.
I enjoy that, but I enjoy self-checkout too.
Now there are certain hurdles, like for instance at Home Depot.
Home Depot has the worst self-checkout.
I like
Everything
it. You
always
get the gun.
Everything always messes up, and then someone has to come over and help you.
Well, if you're
they
buying,
need to get their systems together. Maybe it's just the one by my house.
if you're buying chain or rope or nuts and bolts, you just gotta steal that.
No, you steal it.
That's the only way.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
go in for like one or two specialty screws,
And
I
you're
just
like,
stick
I'll
them
get-
in my pocket. I'm like, get you next time.
Because Other than that, you got to call an employee. They don't even exist. And put them in a tiny manila envelope and then write the quantity and the SKU. You know, you have to steal it. And there's no other way.
It has to be done.
No other way.
Yeah. So, but everything else, it's just it's a breeze.
I think I broke my microphone.
And then when you're buying alcohol, they have to come over and scan the thing, and that sometimes
from Home Depot.
No, like Publix or whatever else. That becomes a small pain in the ass. But everything else is just the way. It's got to be the way.
This is the way.
It's better. And it's faster, and it eliminates like my hatred for Walmart. I told you, I went in there, run in there,
you enjoyed it, didn't you?
Left, self-checkout, didn't have to talk to anybody, didn't have to see anything, in and out. And I was like, this is better. It made me like Walmart better.
I feel like, like we all know what it's like to have friends that come from maybe countries that like we all think maybe are a little bit more dangerous than the States, but then they're like, look, if I take you there, I take you around, you're going to love it. I could take you right now to Walmart, and I know how to navigate it. I'll walk you around, and when I get you out of Walmart, you'll become a believer. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
You'll be Wally for life.
It's just a warehouse full of cheap garbage that you could buy yourself. Then it's fine. Mm-hmm. Then it's like this is a warehouse of cheap garbage, and then you can pick out the garbage you want and then self-check out and leave. Perfect.
I love it. Well, to close out the day, would you like to do a few, or at least this segment, a couple of voicemails?
Yeah.
All right. If you need to, leave us a message, you got something on your mind, 1-844-TOMNDAN. Show at tomanddan.com for emails, and get our free app. You can hit a little button. You got to hold it down. It's called Mediocre Messages, and you can leave a voicemail message, much like this one right here. This might be Mike B.
Hey, Tom and Dan. It's Mike B from the Owner Radio Show. So, Daniel, you might be a little more akin to this, but I'm playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I just completed a quest for an old woman where I gathered a deer tongue and a bear scrotum. And she was going to make a love potion with it to give to her old husband.
I remember
to get his, to get his member going again. And when he wouldn't take it, I was just like, well, then I'll just satisfy you. So I humped this old woman.
It's in the game, too. They give you that choice. It's not like you have free will to do that. They kind of force you to do that.
This is similar to the same category of someone telling me their dreams.
Video games?
Telling me
video
games.
It gets to a point, so hold on here.
And her husband, at the end of all of it, gave me gold and a weapon set. So did I just, old Greek-style cuckold this dude for a weapon and some gold?
Yeah.
It sounds like it.
Pretty much. No. They have a lot of those type of quests. That's like the second or third time in one of those games where there's a woman that can't be satisfied. You game designers, you got to step up your game because this is repetitive. But you got to go into a quest, and you got to go into the forest, and you got to find these particular berries. You got to kill this bear, get the bear fat. Then you got to get the deer tongue. Then you got to get a fox pelt. You come back, you mix the brew. You go to offer it to the old man because he's impotent. He refuses to take it because you're challenging his manhood. You can either choose to fight him or whatever, or satisfy the old lady. Satisfy the old lady. Old man says, "Thank you for doing it. Here's some gold and here's a weapon set." It happens all the time in these games.
I walked in on my husband banging a chick in a canoe on a game. I'm like, "What is happening in here?" It was full nudity.
Oh, that is.
What is that?
That was in Witcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. There's one rogue mage who's on an island. And you sleep with her in a canoe, and then afterwards you send her back to Kaer Morhen, that place where the witchers live. Kaer Morhen, I think that's what it's called. And in my version, I didn't send her back, and I accidentally hit the A button and I chopped her head off.
Oh,
I did. I killed her. And once she's dead, she's dead.
You bring up a good point. I've never liked the term sleeping with someone because because
sleeping's pretty innocent.
You're down,
I'm not going to sleeping.
If someone's who would be that mad if your spouse slept in the same bed but didn't do anything?
I think I might know a crow.
Oh! What happened again?
Did you just do your pants like your friend?
No.
His legs shot up
I know.
straight like a child.
That's why I asked what I said. Your legs went out like a marionette.
Oh! Don't hold it in too much. You're going to have a heart attack.
That's 2 times. Somebody bring him a change of underwear 2 times.
No. I don't know what's happening.
You're having an allergy attack. We've told you this.
Take some allergy
We've
medicine.
told him this for
Stuffing in here.
years.
Turn on the air.
You want me to turn the air on?
Why is the roof all cracked?
Oh my God! Why everything's on fire?
Told you we had a roof leak.
Anyway, don't like the term sleeping with someone.
It's dumb.
You're downplaying how intense that actually is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Not you.
You're like, I slept with her last, and you're like,
Well, what are you gonna say? I silently lied on top of her last
no, well, I mean, it's something
coitus.
different. Yeah, it's
Okay,
something different.
fine, fair enough.
right.
Don't beat me up, bro.
There you
Let's
go.
try this one.
Hey, Tom and Dan. Chuck from Grand Ledge, Michigan, formerly of Sanford.
Okay, same thing.
Just heard the guy talking about John Taffer and the Tapper brothers, and it's Tappet brothers.
Tap it.
Click and Clack were Tappet brothers because there's a thing called a valve cover, and its a nickname is Tappet cover because they tap underneath there. Goes Tappet brothers.
Okay, we
And
got it.
that John Taffer from Bar Rescue, he looks like he stinks.
I agree.
Oh well. Later.
Did he crush an egg after he said that? He was like, "It sounds like he stinks." Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Sometimes I get distracted.
And that John Taffer from Bar Rescue, he looks like he stinks. Oh well.
Yeah, that
He
was
crushed
an
an
egg.
egg.
crack, yeah.
Just make an omelet.
Sometimes you gotta crack a few eggs.
I broke our mixing console.
So that that show, Click and Clack, is that still on?
It's called, the show is not called Click and Clack. The
No,
show is
whatever.
called Car Talk
Yeah.
with Click and Clack, the Tappet brothers.
Is Car Talk still on?
Reruns of Car Talk, yes, are still on. But I believe one of the Tappet brothers passed away, so now you have one Tappet.
Yeah.
And I believe he retired.
It's
Could be wrong on that, but I think that's accurate.
it's one of those things where like I'm gonna tell my
Yeah,
kids
one
like,
passed away in 2014.
Yeah.
like, you know how you go, I'm gonna tell my sons like, hey, you know how you go on YouTube and you can type in anything you want to fix on a car and it'll give you step-by-step instructions how to fix
Yeah.
it. They'll be like, yes, I do. I'm like, well, the version back in our day was
Don't tell him this.
the Click and Clack used to go on terrestrial radio and talk about other people's car problems, and then you were hoping that somehow
They talk about yours.
you were talking about
Honey,
your
they're talking
problem.
about
Oh, man.
alternators.
Yeah, it just so happened that other person's car problem would be close to yours, and you'd figure it out. That's how we got information back in the day. It's
is.
so insane.
Absolutely. Which one died, Click or Clack?
Oh, I don't know. Let me go back and find
I'd like to
out.
know.
Do you want to know? I mean,
Yeah, I think it matters, right? Click or Clack? Who had the better genetics?
Tom Magliozzi.
No, I didn't ask that. Which one, Click or Clack?
Which one is Tom Click or Clack?
I don't
was it
know.
Tom Clack Magliozzi
Yeah.
or Tom
Click.
Click?
Magazzoli.
Which one are you?
A lot of
Tom?
misinformation.
Which one are you, Tom?
Yeah, are you
gonna
Click or
figure
Clack?
it out.
So in the chat room saying it was Clack.
Oh, Clack.
Tom Clack?
I don't want to get this wrong, though. I don't want to have to do a retraction tomorrow. In yesterday's broadcast, we were talking about the Tappet brothers, Click and Clack. We, unfortunately, we got this one wrong. We said that Click had passed. It was indeed Clack.
No one fixes their mistakes anymore. That,
No.
like, as soon as you
Clack,
like,
click, whatever.
just keep going. All right, bye. Welcome back to a corporate time. So, I felt like a dumb old man the other day, because
I feel like a dumb old man almost every day.
and you know, we're always making fun of other dumb old men, and then we're always making fun of
One of the only positives of being a dumb old man is it gives you the right to look at other dumb old men and recognize how stupid they are.
And we always make fun of like terrestrial radio and radio in general, and how, you know, and like
Well,
the old times,
like recently,
90s radio.
I'll
right?
give the ACT listeners a real world example. You and I giggled like little schoolgirls when we knew Bill Belichick had sent a text message to the wrong person. You can read all about that. That's not what we're talking about. But I laughed and I'm like, dumb old man.
So in this scenario, so I'm scrolling through TikTok and I see, and I don't know what this is. I didn't look it up, but I'm guessing that Logan Paul, or one of the Paul brothers, I can't tell them apart because all white people look the
The
same.
shorter
They
one.
know
both
if Jake
look
or-
exactly the same.
Which
though,
is the
to be
one-
fair.
I don't think so. I think the one with the beard looks
Tall, white, blonde guys. They all-
the one without the beard is Jake.
Which is the one that does the podcast.
That's Jake.
Okay, so
No, that's Logan. See,
Okay.
I'm getting it wrong. Logan is the clean-cut one.
And what's that
Jake
podcast?
is the rougher-looking one.
Because I just see them every.
Impulsive?
Oh, again, Impulsive. Okay, that's the name of the podcast.
Why do I know that?
God.
I'm putting all this together just from the tiny clips I see on TikTok, but I see them in a studio, and it's him with a mic, and they're
Yeah,
and
it's
they
a
have,
nice-ass studio.
and they have somebody else, rich,
Yeah.
and they have someone on the couch, and then their buddies are there, and they're talking, and there's a comedian or someone,
Sure.
and then I saw it with like the Island Boys on, and they get big guests because I'm guessing it gets an insane amount of downloads.
Yeah, well, they
right?
got that
Yeah.
YouTube Connect, and
Yeah.
other people
They got
on
a huge
YouTube
audience
are going to
around
go
them.
to the big boys, so you go to Logan Paul.
But I'm only watching the TikTok video, and I understand how hypocritical this sounds coming from me, who's unprofessional.
Yes.
So everything everybody's thinking, I understand. But when I see them doing this show, in my dumb old man mind, I'm like, you're doing it wrong. Like you don't have the broadcasting chops from years of doing it to understand.
That's
like,
a dumb old man thing to say.
I know.
Yeah.
And I saw myself like,
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, because
I'm doing it because
really
that's
no
what people
rules.
said about us.
There's no rules. Yeah, exactly. Everybody said it about us.
I know, and I'm saying it about them. But there is. Okay, follow me here. This is real dumb
I
old
don't know where
man.
you're
But
going. You going to hell? Because I'll follow
Here
you
we
there.
go.
Where are we going?
no, but there is something to be said about learning your craft over time and fine-tuning it over time and going through a certain process similar to, and I understand this is I sound like a dumb old stand-up now because the stand-up were railing against the social media stand-ups about the same thing because
Right.
they believed in the process to get
You
them.
didn't pay your dues is what most people go to, right?
And I think paying your dues is a bad way to say you didn't practice correctly.
Or you weren't punished like I was. Like a lot of people look at it like a misery thing. It's like, look, it was miserable for my come up, so your come up should be miserable too.
So like it's kind of like what Tom Brady could say to other quarterbacks that don't have the same regiment that he has, and he could say like, this is why I had success because I did it this way. Now, I'm saying this about people that have vastly more success than I will ever have, and are richer than I'll ever get, but they got rich other ways, and they started a podcast, and they have a huge audience, but they didn't get rich started because they were podcasters or broadcasters.
No.
They got rich because they were social media influencers.
They do videos, yeah.
And then the podcast is just a portion of that media that they put
an
out.
extension.
But when they're doing the podcast, I do criticize in my mind just the small clips. I never listen to it because it's not my thing. But I do criticize the way they're doing their broadcast because I'm like, you're doing like this is wrong. Like I'm nitpicking a little dumb old man. I'm just telling you. I realize that.
Hey, at
If
least you
you go
recognize
back
it.
and you listen to, well, I guess you guys started this podcast even after you were already on the radio for a while, but even the early mediocre times are very different than they are now.
Way
You-
more
you
structured
know.
now than.
Well, that comes from.
And think about all the comedians that are used to being on mic and talking in
Yeah.
front of people, but their podcasts aren't always great, you
Yeah,
know?
No,
Now-
certainly not.
But they'll get better.
Yeah.
Some of them will.
Through practicing,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Some of them have. Like some of them now, like even a guy like Marin who had radio experience, but like he's so polished now. When you hear him with anybody, you're like, he could do any interview with any person because he's done it so much now.
Yeah.
That like now he's just as accomplished in podcasting as he ever would be, even in stand up. Even though stand up's his big dog thing that he does. I mean, the guy's got chops, right?
Well, the more practice,
Yeah.
the more reps, the better you get. And so I imagine, these guys will get better the more reps they
But I agree with you. I've seen it before where like I know that it's somebody like it's a tough pill to swallow for I think anybody who wants to be in entertainment when you've tried really hard to do things what you've been told is the correct way to do it, right? And you take a lot of pride and effort in your process and your workflow. But then you see somebody who maybe doesn't care as much because we talk about that in here about like, hey, when we do this segment, everybody just kind of chill out and just don't care because it puts you in a better mind space.
Yes,
it
yeah.
actually makes you funnier, makes you more comfortable, makes your show a little more relatable. It's easier going.
Yeah.
You're not hearing any like little bumps or any things that are floating in your mind.
And maybe it's the same thing. Like we wanted to do something different than what we saw the generation above us do in radio.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do it our own way and then our own style, and that's the way we did it. But it all came with a point to it, and like I watch Impulsive and I see Logan Paul or whatever, and he's slouched down on the couch. And
that's his brand,
and that's his brand. That's what he's doing. But then dumb old man. I was like, put some effort into it.
Yeah,
like,
unfortunately, you and I
ask your guest
Pull
some
up your pants, boy.
I'm like, act
That's
like
what
you
I'm
care.
saying. Yeah.
But now I understand exactly opposite, and like everything I'm saying is hypocritical in one aspect or another, because we're at one point we're like, we can't care too much because that's how you better.
But
content.
we're also putting on a show, and I know that you and I come from the greatest showman school of performance, where it's like, just put some GD effort into it. Act like you want to be there. No, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Act like you want to be there,
and ask some more interesting questions, because like you're interviewing the Island Boys. There's a lot more interesting questions that you're arguing about whether diamonds are real, then they store them off.
You know what I really want to know about Island Boys is like, when did you start your transition into the tattoos and the hair, and like what did you look like when you were like 16 and 17? Were you anywhere near these like personas of these?
I think like one teardrop and then they little
like
dreads.
How did you become human broccoli? Like how did that happen? You know, that's interesting to me.
So
how's your mom? What's she look like?
Now, I only saw a tiny clip on TikTok. The whole interview may be better. It was one of those instances that I'm doing what people did to me, and then
now hold on a second.
That's what happens.
I think it makes you not dumb old man, though, to vocalize that you are aware of dumb old man tendencies. You're doing the opposite of what true dumb old man would literally just get on here and say they're doing it wrong and never address the fact that you are conflicted by that feeling.
Yeah.
So you're not a dumb old man.
Okay. Well,
you're not.
I'm trying to be honest.
No, and you have to be.
Because
you have to be.
It's also not my audience, and that's his audience, and that's what they want.
Yeah.
Right?
It's probably a little bit of both, though. If you ask them.
It'd be the same thing of us complaining about mumble rappers, but that's what those kids like.
Right.
You know?
Has that gotten any better with you, mumble rappers? I think it's less of them. I think we grew out of it. I think there's less people mumbling now. That's my theory.
I think so too.
I think that it went real hard and people were like, we really like this, and nobody really liked it. And I think we're pulling out of it now.
And then it died,
because rap is good right now, man. There's been like that Nas album, Magic.
Quality does make a difference.
Please, man. That Hit Boy and Nas album, that they are killing it, and that new Rick Ross is really good. Although I am naming older rappers. See, dumb old man, you got to be honest about it. I'm not naming new rappers.
But quality does last longer than
Nardo
quality.
Wick. Get that Nardo Wick. I want to go see him at the barn. Andrea will not let me. School night. I would just want to go there and party. I want to rage at the Nardo Wick concert.
Nardo Wick's at the barn?
Mm-hmm.
I thought the barn primarily just did country stuff.
Until they get a big hip hop artist coming into town. You want to go with me?
There's a weird relationship that's
with
always
hip-hop,
been with hip hop and country.
Oh, Jesse Black's. It's
I don't
country on the
think-
inside and hip hop outside.
Oh, in DeLand we had a bar that like
Dixie.
We had disco in the center. There was a country bar to the left and a rap bar to the right.
Yeah.
And you would just go between bars. You'd be like, I'm gonna do a little line dance, and you go over here and like, I'm gonna twerk my balls off over here.
It's weird because it doesn't happen in other genres and bars. But it happens in the genre that you would assume. Is it because
the beat?
Is it because
the beat is very similar, and country songs and rap songs are very 1 and 2.
But
There's a lot of boom bap in both.
Is it also like, are they fighting against the stereotype that like a country bar is somehow racist, and therefore we're like, we'll show you we're not racist. We'll do hip hop in the back.
I think they just want black and white money. I think they want all the monies.
But why?
Right?
But everybody wants all the monies. Why doesn't a techno bar do it, or a rock and roll bar have hip hop in the back? I mean, why doesn't
because when you specialize, sometimes you can get more people than like a food hall. Let's think of it. Let's talk this out.
Yeah.
Food halls are very popular right now, but I don't find myself lining up to go to them because something about them is weird to me. Like when you
but they're popular, so you
they
can't.
Are.
Yeah.
They are.
But I'm saying, what caused the country bars to adopt hip hop in the back? Because we've seen it so many times.
You can line dance to it.
That's true.
It. Maybe that's it.
But they'd always separate it, so there would be different music in the back. It's not like they're intermingled. Like in Doo-Doo Dixie,
in case a cowboy was dating someone who preferred hip hop. No, that's not it.
Yeah, but,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because
I don't have an answer for you, dude.
It would be closer.
It's a great question.
Yeah,
You're right. Why not just like have a club that plays hip hop and country and raw, and you just mix it all in there. and just play good music. Why does it have to be like a country bar
One
or like
genre,
like a rap or a hip hop or a
Again, I think it's
dance night?
money wise, but for whatever reason, it's like those country bars a lot of them had a hip hop area. There was a completely different bar, but it's still the same bar, but it was a different scene, a different people, a different. There would be a DJ back there playing, and it was somehow connected to the country bar. I have no idea who started that, or if just one bar started it, and then everybody just copied it.
I will say I've liked it because I've been in country bars before. Like, you know where you end up in a country bar? Like, normally I'd end up I never went to a country bar like dressed in country clothing to like do anything, but I would end up at a country bar and I'd be like, I like this. It's a bar. And then
go to any bar, you know?
And then you go to the back and then they got like the hip hop on, or it's a different tiny room with like better lighting. And I'm like, oh, this is cool too. Like, I'm pro it, but you're right. Why?
Someone just had to have started it, and then other bars copied it because it turned out to be successful. Again, though, weird that like. It's weird. Like, I can't figure out why.
Because we're trying to find out where it started, why it started. Like, I think everybody here is on board with it and enjoys it, but we don't know why it started.
Now, I know a lot of people that liked country music and hip-hop, especially younger people. Like,
well, new country has so many elements of pop and hip-hop in it, it's disgusting. That's not me saying it's bad. I'm just saying the two could be synonymous. You pull the vocals off
they're
of...
like rapping over country songs.
Yeah,
so.
you pull the vocals off of any hit country song right now, and you could have a rapper rap over it perfectly.
And
it's so simple.
You see the blend, like country. There's a country road, not country road, Old Town Road or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like there's blends. There's plenty of blends.
Yeah.
That
that's like pop music mixed with country.
Is it because
Taylor Swift crossover, right?
Yeah. Anyway, weird.
It is weird.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to the bottom of it. I liked it when they do remixes. The new thing that I've seen in Peloton rides, they'll do a country remix of a song where it's like a really country song, like She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy.
Yeah.
I think that's Tim McGraw.
No, that's Kenny Chesney.
Or Kenny Chesney, yeah. What's the Tim McGraw one I was singing yesterday? It came out. Anyway, there was a Tim McGraw one, but let's go with the Kenny Chesney one. This is good. And then they'll do like a remix by Tiesto or something. Like, it's somebody and I'm like, where did that come from? And I'll hear it and I'm like, oh, I like this.
Yeah, that's big on TikTok.
It is huge. It's huge right now. So I wonder if that is just the new iteration of what you're talking about. Because I've never been like into these like remixes, these country remixes, but they did a Peloton ride, and it had like 9 different songs in it. And I was like, these are all really good, but they are not country. They're just dance songs where they took really good country vocalists, and because the country music people they're great singers, right? You may not like the music, but they got good voices.
Well, that also was like a European thing.
It is a
when
European
I was in Germany,
thing.
I saw like there was some bar in Germany was playing techno, but it was all remixes of country songs. And I remember I told you I was standing there and they were doing techno, Take Me Home Country Road.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then some German guy's
That's
like,
a thing,
West Virginia.
man.
They're like, oh, you're American. You've been to West Virginia. I'm like, it's a hellhole. I'm like, it's not what you think.
I think we've stumbled upon something that we don't understand, but we will get to the bottom of it. You got emails over there?
Yeah.
You got any emails? Let's do emails. I was going to go voicemails, but we're running a little bit light, so let's finish out this segment at least with some good old emails.
Hi, T&D fam. Can we talk about something serious for a second?
Oh, no.
Breast milk cheese. Hear me out. My husband argues that it's weirder to consume milk products for an animal of unknown origins in a completely different species with a diet consisting of nothing we can be sure about. Even your organic sources have loopholes in the system, and the cow, goat, or otherwise can't confirm that they didn't accidentally eat something moldy or covered in a little bit of another animal's pee. But say you have an athletic mom with a clean diet who is as free range as they come. Couldn't you trust that her breast milk is good for cheese making? Is it weirder to eat human breast milk cheese or cheese from another species? Discuss.
Had this conversation with my wife last night, so you're kind of freaking me out because we were talking about cow milk. And we were talking about whether or not cow milk damages the earth more than almond milk. And then we were talking about the nutrients and anything other than whole milk. And then we got into this big milk discussion. And then we started talking about how we want to eliminate milk, but I like the taste of it. So there's a part of me like kind of like this morning.
Fine.
I don't want to give up everything. I'm giving up everything.
Yeah.
And I can't give up. I like a glass of ice cold milk.
It's fine.
I love it with a donut.
Yeah. And the I guess the real answer is it's all about how we grew up and the society we grew up in. And so to answer your question, on paper, yes, it is bizarre. Without society or whatever, it was bizarre that we drink other animals' milk. But
yes,
it's also just as bizarre and gross and more gross to our society if you had some sort of breast milk cheese and you were eating that. I would think you're disgusting.
Yeah.
Why
is that though?
Even though it makes more logical sense because they were, consuming another human's milk rather than a cow.
That used to be your only option as a baby to live, right? You would drink the milk of your mother.
But we grew up in a society that one is normalized, one isn't, so that's what it is.
Yeah.
And we can't get past it. And that's
stigmatized it.
Yeah. And it's your influence of your culture you grew up in.
Is human breast milk cheese good? What does it taste like?
I bet you couldn't tell.
If you put some sort of whatever flavor, I don't know.
No, I don't even think you would. I think if somebody made breast milk cheese and brought it in here and didn't say a word, and then we just, ate it, we'd be like, oh, cheese, yay. Because I think milk is pretty close to milk is pretty close to milk.
And breast milk, it just tastes like a watered down, 2% milk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never tasted it, but I'm just guessing.
Oh, well, then you can't tell me.
But,
have you had breast milk?
No, but
I have tasted my wife's breast milk.
And what did it taste like? Because you actually tasted it.
It was watery. It really didn't taste like anything.
Yeah.
It was like chalky water.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, some water.
It was too diluted. Because it's like, again, I also feel like it's straight from the tap, which I feel like if you had cow's milk straight from the tap, it's going to be a little bit different than all the pasteurization processes and things that we get.
Yeah.
It's just a different animal.
And also, we're fine to eat whatever because we had to do it to survive. And if you watch any survival show, you'll watch these people just eat whatever gives them calories and fat.
Indeed.
And then you forget, it's like that History Channel show, that Alone show that I was watching. Like, I forgot how, it's rare to find fat in the wild. That's why it's so important. That's why they're eating animals' brains and things, and they want the trout because the fish have more fat. And if you just eat, like a wild game, it's too lean, right? It doesn't have any fat because it's been running for its entire life.
Yeah.
So it's all muscle.
That's why if you're deer hunting, you should walk because it fattens up your deer.
And so you only have protein, and then your body is starving for fat. And then the opposite, if you just eat all fat, and the show proved that you start having your body will start having diarrhea and all the problems.
I already have it
because you're just eating only fat.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to have the balance, and But if you're surviving, you're just eating whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever will keep you alive. So the answer is we could eat anything. It's just society tells us what's gross and what's not based on. It's like the billboard with these are acceptable animals to eat and these are not.
Yeah.
It's like they're all animals, but it's our culture.
I had that. I had the first. I haven't had that. The effect of while you're eating something, you think about it, and then it makes you not be able to eat what you're eating.
Yeah.
I had that happen for one of the first times recently, where I forget what Andrea and I were. I think it was a fish. I was eating a fish dish, and for some reason, something happened in my brain.
Really?
And I went to, not that I love fish. It's one of my favorite, but it something happened. I could feel the connection of I was thinking about the fish eating I don't know, ocean poop or something. I'm thinking, and then for whatever reason, all the little connections I made in my imagination of this particular fish ruined my appetite. It was meh. It just stopped it.
See, all fish to me are the same. It doesn't matter. But you get into frog. Okay, let's talk Florida.
Let's talk frogs.
Frog legs and gator bites and things like that. I've
never had frog legs.
I've had both of them, but
you're too tall.
I can't.
You need to look like me to have true frog legs. You got to be a little more potato shaped.
Frogs have long legs, though.
Well, when you stretch them out.
Yeah.
If you stretch out my legs, they're very long.
There can be logical arguments that frog legs are better than,
I've had frog
chicken
legs.
wings or whatever.
Yeah, they're all right, but I don't like the fact that it's a frog.
Yeah, exactly. And then
It's very
because
simple.
of society, it's turned me off, and I'll never order frog legs at Gator's Dockside or Gator Bites, and I've had them, and they're fine.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm like, whatever. I'd rather eat the chicken bites. It's a fried piece of nothing, of meat.
Can I take it further and crazier?
Yeah.
Chicken, to me, There's a weird. I'm not okay with animals being killed for us to eat them, but I do it, right? But if you ask me, I don't like that fact, right? I don't like the fact that we have trucks of chicken going down the road and they're like miserable and they're getting
You'd rather
stomped
not
out.
happen, but I don't care.
But right, I gotta eat. But for some reason, I can't eat alligator because I think alligators look cool, and I don't want to eat something that looks cool. I want to eat something that looks stupid, like a chicken.
What about a horse or dog or cat?
I would eat a horse. I would eat a cat. I would not eat a dog because those are my best friends, my pee-pee dogs.
I'll eat a buffalo burger.
I would eat a buffalo burger. Ate one last night. Big old cheeseburger.
But they're close enough to cows where I'm like, same thing. That's weird. That again, it's just the psychology of it, right?
Do you have anything that you think do you have a preconceived idea of what something will taste like with not even tasting it? Like, I've had horse before, I believe, but I don't really remember what it tastes like. But in my mind, I'm thinking it's just going to taste like sootier than cow, which is not true. It's just in my brain, I'm thinking that.
It's all the spices and the way you cook it and whatever. It's like meat is basically meat. You know what I'm saying? There's different gaminess and different textures.
You got to throw some Slap Ya Mama on there from Veal Platte, Louisiana. That is a damn fine seasoning.
And then the cuts of the meat make a difference, right? So I'm guessing probably all animal livers taste pretty much the same because it's an organ, right? So like if you're eating a cow or a goat liver compared to an alligator liver or some sort of fowl liver or whatever, it's like probably about the same. A human liver, you get the same organ. But I'm just saying, it's like it's all liver, so it's what's the difference?
Right.
But some are grosser than others.
And some organs, because of their importance, were very hard for me to get to an area where I could eat them. For instance, cow heart. It's great. It tastes awesome. And if you season it up, it's delicious. It might as well be a fillet. But just hearing cow heart is like
the tongue of the animal.
I've heard the tongue is great.
I feel like I can't try.
I was watching an episode of Matty Matheson the other night, and he had a tongue out, and he I think he would grind it up, made it into a hamburger, and he was like, "Oh, it's the best ever." And I'm like, I don't think I can do that. I don't know about that.
I can do it. I just don't want it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no interest into it.
If it didn't look like a tongue, I think.
Yeah, if you cut it into a square, you're gonna have to cut all the tongue parts off and make it look like a square of meat. Out of there. Yeah, I'm with you. Tripe, any of that. If you make it look like, go ahead and pre-grind it.
Yeah.
Just pre-grind it and put it in a sack and hand me the little sack and say, hey, this is meat. Here's your meat. What kind of meat? Don't worry about it. Just cook it up.
It's weird how our relationship with food is very cerebral.
It really is,
because it's like you need to, unless you're starving. And again, if you're gonna live, if it's life or death, you'll eat anything. You'll eat a human. Whatever.
That's why when I had those little bouts of like weirdness with, I don't think my taste went away when I had COVID in December, but I remember I was having issues like where it was like things don't taste right. And there was a certain paranoia that I got with that, where when something tasted completely different. I remember I was eating barbecue chicken pizza. I told you guys about it. And the barbecue sauce just tasted crazy. It just tasted crazy. It didn't taste, it was like really pungent, really strong. And I was like, oh man, if it stays like this is going to mess me up. Like I'm going to have to relearn how to eat stuff, right?
I mean, who knows? Because COVID does affect your taste and smell, but then how much of that is psychological too?
Right.
It's like how much of that is just it does. So is this messing with your brain?
And then I started saying, is this really happening, or is this just things that I've heard from people having COVID, and I've just engineered a fake version of my taste being changed in my brain?
Because your taste buds are just connected to your brain, and your brain's telling you, that's all it is. So it's like it's all your brain. So how much of it is it real, or is it just you? Thinking.
I have a tendency to think if it's me, not real.
But then you go that route and you're like,
well, that's because I'm conditioned that way, right? Yeah. Like I'm a hypochondriac.
But you did
have
a
good imagination,
so it makes sense. But you knew that, so then that counteracted. Who knows?
It's on the table. On the table.
Yeah. Bye.